Hello, welcome back to the PoddiMouths podcast. I am Peyton, and this is where my dad and his friend John talk about random stuff in life or the things they found on the internet. I hope you enjoy listening to this episode as much as I did. Here they are now.
Wow.
If it involves mountains, breakfast food, coffee, or campfires.
Or dogs.
I'm in. Or dogs. They did miss that. Yeah. Except I wouldn't pick a cabin. I wouldn't pick a cabin that's on stilts over a lake. I would probably pick that church in the background though. That's
to live in or
to live in.
Attend?
Absolutely. To live in. Jen and I have had this conversation quite a few times. I like unique places. I don't necessarily. I live in a very not unique place in a very not unique house. And the reason we're talking about this, folks, and actually showing my screen for those of you who are just listening, I'm actually sharing my screen right now, so John can see the snow that hit us here in Nashville. So before I show the pictures in the video, I want to let everyone know that Nashville had hit two records. One, the most snow since 1944. And two,
and let's say that Nashville more records have come out of Nashville than anywhere. Okay, continue.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Pun intended.
Thank you.
The other part of that is we hit the total average snow amount in Nashville that happens in a year, we hit in one day. Which, to the parts of the country I'm from, and I'm representing right here, TJ, if you're watching, I don't know if you watch or listen, but I'm holding up one of the sweatshirts you got me for my birthday once.
How nice of you, TJ.
He had loaded me all my Minnesota hats behind me too. Those are all from him as well.
The cool part is I'm sure they were on sale. Anyway,
maybe no. He got those when he was still a student at the University of Minnesota.
Then they definitely weren't on sale because I know the university bookstores do not have anything on sale
all.
Ever.
Yeah, so it means more to me because of that. Anyway, so we're the part of the country that you and I are from. We're no stranger to this much snow. My part of town was one of the towns that got the most snow, and we hit 9 inches. So we hit 9 inches in one day, which is a lot. So here we go. So you guys get to see a little bit of my Jeep as well here.
This is a good reason for you to watch on Spotify or YouTube if you are not.
That's right.
Bill, if you're walking and we're in your ears. Honestly, this is really stuff that you are missing, my friend.
Yep.
So just log in later and come and see it.
That's my front yard, and looking at Fjord there. Fjord the Jeep.
Fjord.
So, yeah.
That is
it's some snow, isn't it?
So are you thinking about shoveling, or are you just going to leave it like that?
Oh, it's gone now. So this happened we're recording on Friday. This happened on Monday night or Monday.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So,
wow.
So it's not. Now, that's the thing. It's not gone, which is also very unusual for Nashville because usually within 2 or 3 days, it's almost completely gone. 4 days, it's gone. But so this happened Monday and we are Friday and it's actually snowing right now. But I'm just now starting to see patches of dirt under the snow in the backyard because I'm looking at the backyard right now. But there's still plenty of snow. There is a lot of snow on the ground. I would say there's still
it's
2
been
or 3
sloppy
inches.
for the last couple of days at least because it's been melting. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any pictures. This was
that's
a couple
great.
of days ago.
Great video shot. That's terrific.
So this is from my office. This is looking at the backyard. So on Monday, all of this was white. You couldn't even see the brick wall down here. All of this was white. So now you can see that some of it's melting. And I took this yesterday. So this is what it looked like yesterday. And it's it's still pretty close. And like I said, it's snowing right now again.
Wow.
But we're not expected to get any accumulation. It's just light, fluffy snow. But so it was interesting. You can see I'm trying to get my status match on one of my other airlines there. But so we can,
very cool. I don't think people are looking at that.
No, probably.
And
not.
you have a cardinal. Awesome.
Yep, cardinal. And here's Clyde playing in the snow because he hates the snow. He really does.
Clyde
Both
does?
dogs. He hated the snow. Yep. He's like, what is this shit? I do not want to deal with this.
Oh, our dogs have all just been snow dogs. Oh my goodness.
Well, they're used to it.
But they're not. They're not used to it. That's true.
Yeah. So the night before, which was kind of fun, I'll show you a picture here. One more picture and then we'll do it. So the night before, Jen and I actually sat and you can see the snow starting to accumulate. but we sat out and had a fire in the fire pit, and it was 2 degrees. It was fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
It was 2 degrees? Wow.
It was 2 degrees. Yep. No,
wow.
That's why Jennifer is sitting all bundled up in her winter coat and everything. And she's got her long underwear on, and she's in a sleeping bag, and she's in front of a fire, and she's still cold. So it was fun.
Winter camping. She loves that.
Oh yeah. So much. So much. Now let's see if I can, without stopping the video, let's see if I can stop sharing.
Sure you can.
Yeah. There we go.
Piece of cake.
All right, so there we go. We're back.
Technology.
We're back. You can see our full face.
Yeah. I'm sure
sorry, folks.
What happened to their small heads?
Small head. That was my name in college. Wait, no.
Leave that alone.
Yeah.
Gonna leave that alone.
Yeah.
So snow for you guys.
Snow and cold.
Did you do the shoveling or snow plowing yourself?
Oh hell no.
Yeah, you have a company.
No, we didn't. We just let it. No,
you just let it melt.
Yeah, so some of the people, in Nashville, there's really no reason to do that.
Sure.
And I wasn't expecting it to last as long as it did. So, and really, honestly, there's nothing to do. So I did take the Jeep out just to play the other day because I'm like, okay, it's still here.
Oh, yeah,
might as well.
It's a Jeep.
And you know, I was joking with other folks that I work with, and I said, I took the Jeep out and into the snow to play, and the Jeep was like, yeah, what snow? Because that's what it really was. Awesome. I mean, there was nothing. It took a lot to really get it to even slide a little bit. It was fantastic. It handled it like a champ.
Still, as we always say to 4x4 drivers, just because they can go in the snow doesn't mean they can stop in this. Well, it's the ice that's the danger. But it's stopping is not as sure-footed as the going is.
It is definitely not. And the nice thing is with this particular Jeep, because it's a hybrid, I have the charging, so I can do the what is it called? Like the name just slipped out of my head.
Regeneration. Regenerates. Yeah.
So I hit a button, and it's kind of like gearing down. So I take my foot off the gas, and it slows. Yeah, that's very cool. It slows. It was really handy.
And there was something before hybrids and EVs. What we used to do, and I remember this in Wisconsin when you're driving through snow with a 4-wheel drive, is put the transmission in neutral if you had to stop. Because otherwise it would tug no matter what, even imperceptibly. You had to pull it out of gear. Otherwise, it would often just continue going straight.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So cool. It's been fun. Peyton has been off school the entire week. They actually canceled it in 2-day blocks, which I thought that was interesting, but I have no problem. When I was out, I had no problem driving in it. It didn't bother me. It's not horrible, but it shut down the city.
A lot fewer people out, I'm sure.
A lot fewer people out. Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and it was probably a chance to reflex everybody's Zoom chops too.
Seriously. Yeah, exactly. For those that don't work like us, we were pretty much always virtual.
Yeah, but right, exactly. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's been
cool. It is fun, and that's it's just something different. It mixes it up a little bit, and
it does. And on top of that, you know how much I'm fond of where we come from, and I, unlike a lot of people, I prefer the snow, I prefer the cold, I prefer the gray, and it's just bringing me back home, making me feel like I'm at home. So I've been giddy while my wife and daughter are walking around going, oh, wish it would go away or the sun would shine. I'm like, yeah, no, I want more. Give me more. Give me more now.
I can handle it for a couple of days, a week. Fine. After that, though, especially, again, up north, the snow you get today will probably be there in May.
Probably.
Well, not quite May, but certainly March.
Right.
And that's, you kind of go, okay, a few days would be great. And that's where Nashville has, for somebody apparently like the girls and like me, I would much prefer it to be short-lived if you're going to have. Yeah, we miss a little bit of snow. I don't miss the change of seasons nearly as much as I thought because
the season doesn't change.
We have a bunch of crappy rain now. This is supposed to be not the rainy season, and it turns out that El Nino, it is raining and has been. And
that's the crazy thing. We weren't expecting snow at all this year because of El Nino and all of the weather, the advanced weather reports and all of it. They're all pointing to the likelihood because we watch Ryan Hall, y'all. The likelihood of us getting. Me too. the likelihood of Tennessee getting any snow this year is very, very slim. And that was in the fall, which, they're doing long-term predictions, so no one really knows. But I think it's really funny when you get those long-term predictions that it's completely opposite. And then you get we get 9 inches of snow and beat all records that we've had on the books since 1944.
But it's a single event. There's no way to predict that. And what he looks at, of course, as like all of the good ones, they look at trends. Right. And they look at, this is probably what's going to happen. And here's usually what happens based on the models. And so to even guesstimate, even for guys like that and he really is good. He is. It's what he does.
Right.
But for him to guesstimate is way more than 2 weeks to a month out.
Yeah. And even that is pushing it.
Well, the curve, the accuracy curve, it totally goes way down the further along it gets.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and it's still fun though. It's still kind of fun because this is unusual. I wish it would stick around, but next week it's going to be back in the high 50s and low 60s, and it's going to be raining all week. But I know I don't like it. I seriously would rather it just be 0 to 10 degrees any day.
That's actually that. We're just trading now. It sounds like, or not quite the opposite of trading. You're getting our week this last week, next week, because we've had 60s and rain, and it's just crappy. And just as last year, Lisa would wake up every morning and go, "I can't believe how beautiful it is." Every morning, and it was sickening. It was like a month in a row, and it was perfect every day. And 80s, but almost. And I don't mean that. No, I'll take it. But it's been just the rain and cold since then. If you can count mid 60s as cold, which we do now. Anyway, but so you enjoy that crap that we had.
Okay, fine. I will.
Yeah.
Now, it's really crazy right now, and then I'll let you go on to your subject change. But so the sun is shining and it's still snowing.
You're going to have a snow bow.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It's been doing that on and off all day, like gray and snowy, and then the sun will come out and it'll snow. I mean, obviously, I can still see the clouds, so that's where the snow's coming from.
Well, it's not going to stay then, obviously, with the sun shining through, but that's fine. Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say, let's go back, if you don't mind, reshare your screen and go back to that cabin picture you had.
Okay.
Because I'd like to talk about that. You were talking a little bit about the little chapel in the background, and I wanted to touch on, you said, was this before? This must have been before we aired, when we were talking about how you like unique. No, you did at the beginning. How you like unique buildings and places, and I don't know if you can zoom on that at all. But
where do you want to go?
Well, the chapel just a little bit. How you can. I love the setting. I'm not sure. We have some friends who in North Carolina have. Zoom. That's fine. Don't worry about it. There you go. We have some friends in the Carolinas who are in the mountains, and they're actually in the mountains. They're up.
Okay.
So
they're in the hills.
What the altitude is. Yeah, but it's, it's probably up 5,000 feet, not quite 4,000 feet, some of them.
Okay.
I would guess. So it's substantial for that area. And I would prefer that to be in the valley like this one is, although it is by the lake. Mm-hmm. So there's some, there are some pluses and minuses to overlooking the lake rather than, walking out to the lake. They're both fabulous, but anyway, but talk a little bit about that unique houses, unique homes.
I just always like
you and Jen were talking about.
Yeah, we live in a very traditional house, and we always talk about building and doing things like that, and what we want next. And I honestly, I have always loved unique spaces. So people that turn churches or firehouses or some other unique building into a home, I just find those fascinating, and I love them. And actually, so give me a second. I'm gonna stop sharing this, and now that John is surviving himself. But Gosh. Let me see if I can find, because I follow. Let's see, I follow some interesting. No, that's not the one I wanted to go.
While you're looking, let me just talk about that, because there's in the town we used to live in, Wisconsin, in Lake Mills, they had an old, I think it was a Methodist church, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Whatever. It was an old church, traditional church. And it had, I don't know if they had rebuilt or it had shut down for whatever reason. The congregation split. You know how that happens sometimes. And anyway, but there was this massive old building, probably from the early 1900s, I would guess.
Okay.
And someone had bought it and started at varying levels and layers sort of to model it into a home. But I think, and I never really saw the inside of it. Several people have, because they had a tour once a year. And this lady who owned it would sell, a bunch of old school stuff, antiques and so on. And so people would come in just because they were dying to look at this place. And I think they had the whatever, the church part, the pews and everything. I think that was still there. Not sure about the altar and everything, but the point is she had been trying to sell it for years.
Okay.
And I think it started out with a price tag of pretty much at $1 million, which was at that time top of the market in Lake Mills. But it was a big place and right on one of the main drags, right on Main Street, actually. And but didn't sell. I think she finally did sell it, but I think for quite a percentage less than that, if I'm not mistaken. But a unique place for sure. But man, you got to have a special buyer for some place like that. Otherwise, it's never going to sell.
There are in a lot of places like that. And I follow like barn dominium places and
I love
and
those.
Different architecture.
Barn doors are cool just because they're unexpected. I guess that's what I like about them. You think they're going to be a lot less expensive, not necessarily, depending upon what you do to them. But I like the whole. There are several configurations I like. With there's, it depends on the footprint, but up north I would have a basement, just because that's what you do up north. But on the bottom level, the garage. And maybe a bathroom and maybe whatever, half kitchen or bedroom. I don't know. And then there's an upstairs, and that's where the living quarters are. And some of those are kind of cool. But I like some on the same level too. Sometimes they have the garage. All configurations, but garages on one side and the living quarters on the other side, which is kind of cool too. But you got stuff loaded up, man. I can tell just by looking at your smarmy face.
If it'll work. All right. Can you see my Instagram here? So this is someone I follow. It's called Old House Life.
Oh,
and
nice.
Don't you follow her too?
She keeps calling me, but no, I haven't followed her.
So not all of these are unique, but these are historical, which is also something very intriguing to me. But see some of these, like this church right here.
Yep.
So 169.5.
Oh,
and you actually have to go into the into her profile to actually see all the pictures.
I can tell you exactly. No, I can't. I was going to say I could make a wild guess at what it would take to redo it. Where's it located?
That it usually says, but I didn't see it that time. Beautiful stained
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Yep.
Okay, so that probably it's under $1 million probably to redo it, but it's probably $1 million all in, though, I would guess.
Look at this one. It's back by
can't
you.
Make me. Beloit, Wisconsin. Well, I know Beloit, Wisconsin, and I will tell you that that probably is
probably needs a little bit more work.
Well, there's the problem with a place like that, and no offense Beloit or no offense Southern Wisconsin, there's a cap to what that house could ever be worth. And that's what you run into with places like this. Yeah. You can say, oh, it's a bargain. It's $155,000 or whatever it is. And you can say, man, I can spend $200,000 and I could have this castle. Here's the problem. That house will never be worth what you spend on it.
Right.
And so the location still is king, even with houses like that. And there were places.
Go ahead. And I was actually talking to somebody about this the other day, because there are some places that I would have to disagree with you. There were some buildings that have come up in the past where I'm like, I don't care what neighborhood it is. It's just such a cool house or a cool building that
I concur. But if you're going to invest the money, and like it or not, it's still an investment.
It is.
You got to somehow justify it, unless it's your home forever.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say too.
Yeah, that certainly plays into it. But and I know I told you this, Nick, but we looked at. We didn't want to build a house when we moved down here. We looked at, I don't know, 15, 20 houses or so. And they were, the ones we saw were all fine and they were okay priced, but they all needed $100+ grand worth of work. Every one of them. And so then what happens? Well, you're at the same price as if you built one. So do I want a brand new house at that price, or do I want a house that's 20 years old that's been remodeled?
Yeah.
Oh, these are cool.
It's a tough one. Yeah. So this is another one I followed, DC Hiller.
Oh, cool.
And this is most of the stuff that he shows is modern though. And or not mid-century modern mostly, but very cool mid-century modern type things.
Wow. Like
Frank Lloyd Wright type.
Frank Lloyd Wright. Yeah. I love that. I love his style.
You should know all about him from being in Wisconsin, man.
Well, yeah, and there was a guy, an architect in my hometown that was very Frank Lloyd Wright inspired, and man, he did some beautiful building. John
this
Steinman.
One is definitely, this is Frank Lloyd Wright-esque. Not quite as dark.
Stacked rock and certainly not as dark. It's his style back then still really. Even though it was in the 50s primarily where he became so big, it's still a great design. And that's how you know when is that timely. That's just incredible. Timeless, rather.
Timeless.
It's incredible.
Yep. So anyway, that's
cool
the type
stuff.
of stuff I really like. I mean,
I agree.
I would never. I could probably get Jen to move into a church or a firehouse before I could get her to move into one of these.
Really?
But she doesn't like modern architecture whatsoever.
It's kind of modern, but I don't know if I would.
It's still considered modern. I mean, it's
mid-century modern to me is a little different.
Well, it's the beginning of modernism, and that's where a lot of this came from, which was a European style, and it came to the States, and it was big. It was big in the mid-century.
Some
50s
of this
and 60s.
Stuff, But Frank Lloyd Wright was not. He kind of had his own.
He did. He was deal. Like modern with a.
I don't know how to describe it. Throwback modern, but classic.
It's
modern.
Classic. It's also. What is it? There's another style that both Jen and I really, really love. It's not mid-century modern, but it's a lot of bungalows were made in that style. I can't think of the name though.
Lisa would know, of course, off the top of her head. But
I just can't think of it.
We've sort of been transitional.
Hey, there we go.
For a lot.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
Wow.
Yep. It's Falling Water.
Is that Falling Water? Yeah.
Yep.
Taliesin is in Wisconsin, and there's one there. Taliesin West is in Arizona, outside of Phoenix.
Didn't know that. I think maybe I did know that. Yeah. And that what's the they have plays. The hotel. What is that name? Now it's one of those. It's the end of the day
in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin. Every summer they have.
It's in Spring Green. Yeah.
That's also a Frank Lloyd Wright. That hotel.
That whole it is, and I can't. The hotel. Are you you're not thinking of the house on the rock? Are you?
No,
because that's Dodgeville.
It's down the road.
That's a different place.
Down the road.
Yeah, it is. It's south. It's southwest probably. It's I don't. I'm not as familiar with the whole area up there, but I will tell you this: if you want to take a nice road trip, we rode the Harleys to Spring Green and that whole area to the north and west of Spring Green. Incredibly beautiful.
Yep,
for rides.
Let's see.
So that's a pretty area up there along the Wisconsin River too.
Yeah,
which probably is frozen over right now.
All right.
Just had to get that in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not saying it's
Oh, I'm sorry. I was partially right and partially wrong. The hotel that I'm thinking of was designed by a student of Frank Lloyd Wright.
Okay.
Under the supervision of him.
And where is that hotel?
That's in Spring Green. It's it's USONIAN.
Oh, I'm not familiar with it. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Cool.
So I had the opportunity to stay there and go see a Shakespeare play in Spring Green. It was kind of fun.
We've been to that outdoor theater, and it's a lot of fun. I can't think what it's called, but Lisa and I went with some friends more than once, and you go and have a bottle of wine. And
I didn't have wine. I was too young.
Were you? Well, yeah. I was too, probably. But we had TJ Swan. Just kidding. Just kidding.
American Players Theater.
That's it. Yeah, American Players Theater, and it's just so much fun. I think we only went once or twice, but worthy. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it if you like plays at all. Even if you're not a huge Shakespeare fan, but you like the experience. Yes, it's definitely. I would recommend that.
It's something you got to do once. It's like going to the opera. If you're not crazy about that or whatever, it's you just got to do it at some point.
Yeah, and then you have to see House on the Hill.
The House on the Rock, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, the House on the Rock. I was
doing that on purpose because House on the Hill is a movie.
Oh, is it? No,
it's a horror movie. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's because I watch all the horror movies.
I know you do. It's House on Haunted Hill, I think. Actually,
is it? Yeah. Well, and that's actually a section of St. Louis too. The hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I know very well. That's why you think I gained so much weight when I lived there.
There's a great Italian restaurant up there that I went to
just one
with a buddy of mine. Well, one in particular, and we had oh my gosh, it was good. Stefan and I went.
Fried ravioli was invented on the hill.
I know that
in St. Louis.
I know that, and it is. And we ordered some as an appetizer because duh.
Yeah,
and it was fabulous. Just and
it's very good.
The one we went to was a kind of a mom and pop place. I mean, really a small old school.
They have a lot
of like they do, kind of like the one in Seattle over by the waterfront. Did you ever go to that one?
I've been to a lot of those.
Well,
the one in the hotel on the water, or
no. It was a standalone in a separate building, probably north of where we used to stay at the Marriott.
Okay,
north of there anyway. But oh gosh, we went in and the owner was there, and a showman on a bad day, and so he was just rocking it. Great food, and we left fat and sassy.
You fat and sassy now.
Story of my life. Trying to lower the fat part now. We'll see how that's working out.
It never works for me.
Month.
It's the 19th of the month, and I've already broken my my New Year's resolution, which was to be more active. Now I do have one excuse. It's snowing.
I think now's the perfect time to break out your snowshoes.
Yeah.
Do you have snowshoes?
Not anymore.
Oh. Good Christmas present story.
Okay.
I got Lisa snowshoes for Christmas one year, and I thought, well, this would be fun. She'd get out there, she'd go, and she opened her present, and as she's opening it, she looked at me and said, "What the hell?" I'm going, "I got you snowshoes." She said, "Open yours." I opened mine. Your snowshoes from her.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Awesome. We laughed our butts off. I don't think we ever used them. I think
really?
Hey, these are great. What a great gift. Never used them.
Really funny.
I don't think. Maybe we took them out
keep talking. I'm going to switch hats because I got something poking my head and it's hurting. Hurts a lot. Don't look at my big ears, everybody.
Man,
you see that red on my hat? My head.
Those
right
are red ears. Yeah. What's that?
It was. I think it was this. It was poking
Is
my.
Is that the hat?
Poking my
was
noggin.
That on there with knives?
Looks
like that was put on there with knives, or do you have like a knife sticking through there?
It feels like it. So thank you for allowing me to change my hat, folks.
We didn't say anything bad.
Oh, yeah, good. Well, I could still hear you. It was quiet.
Damn it.
Oh, boy.
Awesome. What else is happening in your world, brother?
Not much. I mean, we really haven't we went to the grocery store, which was an experience in and of itself.
So talk to me about that. Where do you, we talked Costco before.
Yeah, Aldi right now is our
okay. Aldi's your go-to.
Yeah, because we can just get so much more food for the same price. I mean,
us too.
It's incredible, and Aldi's good. I mean, it's got good stuff, and whether it's name brand or their off brand, which is exactly the same thing, It's pretty
Is
good.
there
Now,
stuff? I'm sorry, and keep going. But is there stuff that you won't buy at Aldi? And
won't or usually don't?
No,
are two different
let me
things.
just say. Yeah, let me just say. Not that you're saying I'm not going to buy Aldi's and I'll go someplace else, but do you have certain brands of things? Mine is Puffs, Kleenex, Puffs.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't have that there, and they don't offer it. And so I'm going to go someplace else to get that sort of stuff that I want.
There's definitely certain items, but once in a while they will have certain things. Like they will have a Puffs in there once in a while. So,
Really?
if we see it, we pick it up. But usually, no. Toilet paper, paper towels, and meat. I usually, so we'll buy just like ground beef and turkey, frozen turkey breasts or chicken breasts rather. Sometimes they have some good chicken breasts in their not frozen section. And sometimes we'll get some Italian sausage. But anyway, if I want real good meat, like I'm making steaks, or if I'm making a really good pot roast, or I really want, see, my biggest problem with their chicken is it's good in a pinch, but it's not the best because they leave the fat on. Jen's heard me complain about that before. So if I'm okay trimming the fat off of it, but if I really just want something that's ready to go, I'll go to Kroger or some other grocery store that's in the area, Publix, whatever is easy. But coffee is another one. We don't buy coffee at Aldi. Trying to think if there's anything else. And there are a few items that, like you said, they don't sell, so we'll go buy it elsewhere. Or you know what? Honestly, because I'm a lazy ass and I don't like going to multiple stores. Actually, I take that back. I used to say I'm lazy. I'm not lazy. I don't like people. I may not have said that on the podcast before. I'm not sure.
Not
Probably
this week
not.
so far.
Yeah, not this week. But I don't like people, so I don't. If it's busy, I don't really go. And sometimes we will, like yesterday when we were going to the grocery store, we were just going to go to Kroger and just get a few things for a couple of meals, a couple of dinners. But as we were approaching, the parking lot was packed, and we're like, no, we'll just go to Aldi because we just didn't want to deal with the people.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, not that Aldi is not usually packed, but it's smaller and it seems more efficient. So
for sure, it's interesting here. Exactly as you described it, it's the same way here. Although our Publix is not as busy as you described what Kroger. The old Publix by our old place used to be a lot busier and a lot of crap going on. Ours here is better, but Aldi it's a mile from the house, number one. So it's just a cakewalk to get there. It is smaller. The parking lot always looks packed, but the difference is the demographic from where you are. It's older folks, and you try to hit and miss at the time of day when they're not going to be there. No offense to the older folks, but they would prefer that we stay the hell away when they go anyway. So I get it. But it's the weirdest thing. Unlike, no, I shouldn't say that because they do it at Publix too, but the aisles are wider at Publix. So at Aldi, aisles are a little narrower.
Okay.
But people take their carts when they get them. Do you have like the quarter thing you have to put in the quart? Stupid, but whatever. But I think it lends some goodwill because some people, would you like a car? Oh, thanks. Oh, I didn't have to spend a quarter.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
Well, that's interesting too, because most people, when we do that, they just hand me their quarter.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
And you take it.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow. How about
cheap ass.
Do you have another one?
I have another. No, that's the only quarter I have.
Ask for 50 cents. Say 50 cents.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to take the first 50 cents that comes up. Wow, you're a beauty. But this is what's been happening. People put their carts on one side, and then they cross to the other side of the aisle, and they're picking stuff off the shelves or looking. And I'm like, I can't fit a cart by you and your other cart.
Yeah.
So you got to go to the other aisle.
It's interesting that you bring that up because Jen and I were talking about something very similar, but a little bit different that happens at ours. Because when we go, it drives me absolutely nuts. When Jen and I are looking for something, like you have the cart on the opposite side of the aisle. Yep. If we don't know what we're going to get and we just want to look around, we stand next to the cart on the other side of the aisle.
Yes.
And then
so you're not taking up the whole aisle.
Exactly. So then when we figure out what we want, then we'll approach it and grab it. Now, people here, they don't move their cart to the other side of the aisle. They go stand right in front of what they're looking for, and they will sit there and they will stare, and you'll just sit there and wait. I mean, you're literally just sitting there staring at them waiting, and they don't care. Oh, it drives me absolutely nuts. It's like, just if you don't know what you're getting, don't stand there. Stand back.
It's okay. But at least leave room for a cart to get past.
Right.
That's really all it is.
Well, these folks do leave room for the cart to get past. That's not for us. We're trying to get where you're standing. Like,
that's always the way it is. That's always the way it is.
It's like we stand back. Like if you were to come in and Jen and I were looking, let's say at a wall of chips, and we were trying to figure out which chips. We're on the opposite side, and we're looking at all the chips. You could walk in front of us and know which chips you're grabbing, and you grab them and go, right?
Yeah.
No, people will stand staring at the chips right in front of the chips.
I got you. Well, but here's the problem. You can stand across the aisle and looking at it, but then I'm going to want something where your ass is because you're standing across the aisle. Oh, I need the beans. I need the fava beans right by your butt. Yeah.
I am going. You are absolutely. It's just
being mindful of other people. That's all.
That's it.
It's not that tough.
You're absolutely right. But Jen and I would be mindful, and we would move if someone was looking. If someone was like this, looking, and like we would move. It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly. And that's. I don't know if it's just the, my head's not in the game or whatever their thinking is, but there's a lot of that, and it's, I just, hey, yo. I'm right here. Yeah. Because I'm really about as far away from invisible as you can be.
I try so hard. I did order an invisibility cloak from Amazon.
Did you? How's that working out?
It doesn't work at all. I had to send it back. But that's the other thing. So what I was saying is I don't like people. So if we can't find it at Aldi, there's a pretty good chance that it's on our subscription list on Amazon. Yeah, so we get it delivered to us once a month, anyways.
And we do that too. And yes, I'm with you on all of those things, and that's frankly why I hesitate to do the Costco. Costco is 45 minutes away from us here.
Okay,
so not worth the trip as far as I'm concerned. Sure. We don't, because there are just two of us. We don't need to stock up that much, and the minute we do, the power's going to go out for a week, and so Aldi is really a good answer for us. But Lisa yesterday she said, I'm just going to Publix. And she did because for the exact same thing you said, you can grab what you need. You know what it is. You know what the quality is going to be. And that's for dinner tonight, so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I wish my mom used to do that. And that it could have been her European upbringing, but my mom wouldn't shop for us to have food for a week or two. She would go shopping every single day and buy that night's meal. And I kind of miss that. And I kind of wish I could do that because ultimately I would think that's a little bit cheaper because she's not buying miscellaneous things. She's literally buying all the ingredients that she needs. If we don't have it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess it just depends on, how you buy things. So for instance, if you're buying stuff on sale, thinking that you can freeze like meats, for example, you can freeze them.
Yeah, you can do a lot of different things like that.
Yep, for sure. But
I think in bulk is different, and that's where Costco comes in. I mean, there are very few things that you can buy in bulk that you can keep for a really long time. But that's the other thing I would do too. If we did Costco, I would only buy things that I would be able to save for a long time, like rice, or if I had a deep freeze that I could put stuff in.
Right, which is. I suppose arguments for, but again, with just two of us now, and even when Michael lived with us, there are three. Oh no, we better stock up. But yes, just to reiterate, I am with you on the meat part. So if we're going to make nice steaks, fillets, or whatever, I'm not going to get them at Aldi. No offense, Aldi.
Right.
And I'm sure they're going. I don't blame you.
Probably.
But we'll go to the high-end meat market and this is not something we do all the time.
Right.
But if we're going to go that direction, it's going to be the nice meat market to get that.
You just go every other day. I understand. It's not every day.
It was often for a while. But Aldi has surprisingly good meat. Their salmon, they have coho. We've learned not to get. They have kind of a lower end, whatever it is, too. Mm-hmm. But the coho is pretty good.
Okay,
and Lisa makes it perfectly every time. So nice change up from ground chuck and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Anyway, but it's safe. It's a good place, and I'm with you. We have been. We never went before 6 months ago.
Oh, really?
And as soon as we went in, we were spending, and I'm going to just take a wild guess, $200 to $300 a week at Publix.
It sounds about right.
And we spend about $100 a week at Aldi. It's just, I bought 4 bottles of wine last time.
Yeah.
And it was over $100 at Aldi. And I'm going, what the hell? Oh, it's wine.
Yeah. Well, so when we went shopping yesterday, Jen, we didn't get anyone. Jen is doing the sober January thing. So, and her thing is normally wine. So whenever I go, I usually buy a couple bottles just so we have it, and we didn't buy any this time. And our bill was, so we're in the same boat. We spend about $200 a week, maybe every other week and a half or so at Aldi.
Yeah.
But we're buying a lot of food because I have to make 2 different meals, one that Peyton will eat and then the one that we'll eat.
Sure.
Because it does not always mix. Yeah. But and so we spent $160 and I'm like, how do we do that?
Yeah.
Oh, no wine.
Yes. Funny. But truly, the first time we went, one of the snack things I got that I love that they have, I'm thinking they have it there too. They're like, what do they call them? String cheese.
Yeah.
Wrapped in prosciutto. And I just love, they have it like in a pack. And there are 10, 20, 30 of them, let's say.
Yeah.
And they're great for snacking, just a quick, and I'm trying to stay off the carbs because it's helping.
Yeah.
And they're just great, but it's like $11.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh crap, that's going to put us over the top.
But then you compare it to somewhere else.
I know. It'd be 20 someplace else. And I go to check out and it's going to be $94. Shut up. And here's a $10 tip, to the cashier.
Yeah.
And wow, it's night and day. We're really happy there, but it is knowing where to find stuff, knowing what they do well, and just moving on from the other stuff.
Yeah, we pretty much every time we go, we get the exact same thing. It's not like we really. Yeah,
that's true. You don't stretch your legs to other new stuff. Yeah,
their
produce is not bad.
No,
we've had a couple of things that were not awesome. We had some bad avocados once.
Yeah, I was going to say we struggle with the avocados.
Yeah. But Lisa's learned a way to manipulate them once we get them. So if they're not ripe, that's the better tip. We have a big mason jar, but in the fridge with water. Yep. And that's where we keep them.
Yeah.
And they last and ripen beautifully. And anyway, so we've been that's been an awesome call. But their produce is generally not bad. And if it doesn't look good,
horrible. It's not,
I don't buy it.
It's not bad. My only complaint is there's not a lot of variety.
That's a really good point. But that's true. We don't overdo. We don't buy a ton of produce other than salads and the usual stuff, zucchini, cucumbers, celery, carrots, and they have all that.
Right.
Plus a bag of 4 or 5 jalapenos. I love that they're already in a bag. Jalapenos. I'm going.
We don't have jalapenos at ours.
Oh, well, you should come south, senor.
I am coming south.
See, I know you are. And we're saving up some jalapenos for you.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Some
but
jalapeno poppers.
If you're looking for carbs, you're going to have to go get your bag of chips.
I just had
a lady who's hogging the area.
We got an Aldi's pizza last night. So
did you? And how was that?
Yeah.
We had one too.
Great. It was
Ours
not great
either. Okay, good. Glad to hear you say that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. Like I would eat it again. It was not uneventful. It just didn't knock my socks off. I was expecting more from it.
Yeah, it looked better than it tasted.
Yes.
That was our experience. And it's been probably 4 or 5 months ago that we tried it. And hey, let's just try this. And Lisa was like, I was kind of surprised. Okay. Really? Usually you prevent me from making these stupid decisions. But
Yeah.
Well,
now I will say I need to ask her, but Jen got the cauliflower crust pizza, and I did try her crust because a piece had fallen out, and her crust was much better than ours.
See, I wouldn't mind
know if the pizza was good.
I like cauliflower, and we've done it before. We did a homemade one. I just can't stand the smell of my house after we do cauliflower because it smells terrible when you prepare it.
When you prepare cauliflower, but the pizza doesn't smell like that.
No, it doesn't. Exactly. That's the point.
Yeah.
If it's all pre-made, then it's great. But if you prepare it, it's the whole house smells like cauliflower.
I'll leave this on this note because Jen is having some gluten sensitivity. And so I have a pizza oven and I love my pizza oven. So I actually have been experimenting with different gluten-free doughs and gluten-free flours. And so far, Bob's Red Mill has knocked everyone out of the park. There's one other one that I can't remember the name of that I think it might be Lily. Also has a really good gluten-free flour.
Pre-made dough or it's just flour?
No, it's just flour.
Yeah.
I make the dough. I make it the same way I make the gluten dough.
Yep.
And it turns out really good. I would actually say that with the exception of the last batch, which I did get some specialized pizza flour, which is basically like super fine, double low, whatever it is, flour. But I would say that flour and the one that I made for Jen, the gluten-free, was just as good. And I actually almost prefer the gluten-free flour over the regular flour like if I only buy, because Aldi's a good example. All you can buy at Aldi is, bleached all-purpose flour.
Right.
So if we are in a pinch, we'll get bleached all-purpose flour. I actually, over the bleached all-purpose flour, I prefer the gluten-free.
Interesting.
Yeah. So and I just wanted to.
How does it, when you manipulate it, how does it work? Is it still as good? Or not?
No, it doesn't. It's not quite as forgiving. Like you have to know, like the first time I did it, I was swearing up a storm because I couldn't get the ratios right. But once you figure out the water to flour ratio, then it works really well. But it's a lot more dense when you're working with it. It's almost like clay. It rises a little bit when you let it sit, but it's not like other dough where it's fluffy and tacky. It's just very dense. And I do actually use a roller pin to flatten it.
Cool. And does it come out thin crust then?
If I use the rolling pin, but I have done the fingers and I've done the tossed, and you can do it that way, but it comes out very thick. Then I prefer a thinner crust.
Agreed. Cool.
So,
well, I'm excited when I come to visit your place.
Absolutely.
To do some pizza, cauliflower, maybe cauliflower. You could do that.
We tried that, and it's really difficult.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work very well.
Oh, come on. Keep working at it so you have it down when I get there.
Just for you. Just for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
I'll make the house smell really good.
We're going to do the cabbage crust. Is that okay?
There you go.
Yeah. House is going to be great smelling.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well boil up some eggs too.
I was going to say beets, but eggs work too.
Beets and hard-boiled eggs.
Beets and vinegar.
What is that cologne you got going on? Very nice.
We'll cover it all up with bacon. I know I'm stealing that from. We're going to have a whole other episode on the fact that this is going to be the last Grand Tour episode, the new one that's coming out. Very disappointed.
I know. Dang it.
Very disappointed.
I know, me too. But actually, I'm thinking it'll be cool because they'll be available for podcasts. We can maybe get them to come on.
Yep, they'll just have to, swim across the pond. All right. I'm gonna leave it at that, John. I'm sorry. It's time to go, and you have made me hungry with all this food talk. So
you're welcome.
It's dinner time, and I'm gonna go eat. Let's pass.
You do so.
All right.
You do so.
You, my friend, have a fantastic rest of your day. Good weekend, folks.
Thank you, sir.
You're going to be hearing this on Tuesday. I hope you have a fantastic week. And I am my special guest that is supposed to do the intro recording still hasn't done the intro recording, even though I've reminded her pretty much every day. But I get that 13-year-old look of disdain whenever I bring it up. So
it's not that she's 13. It's just that the look is 13. 13-year-old look.
No, it's I wish 13. I could say that was she is 13, and boy does she live up to that age.
Good.
So anyway, hopefully that will happen or it has happened at the beginning of this one, but I'm not making any promises. Hopefully next week, if not. So Anyway, folks, have a great week. Head up to PoddiMouths.com. Check out our merch store. We'd really love for you to pick up some of our merch. And also, you can see some of our past episodes, all of that good stuff up there at PoddiMouths.com. Back to you, John.
Wow. Thanks a lot, Dick. Hey, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you soon.